Welcome back to the IoT Podcast. I'm delighted to be joined by Jenny today from the IoT Security Foundation, who is Head of Member Engagement. Probably a lot more than that, to be fair, as we know Jenny quite well. So Jenny, let's start off. Where are we today? Who are you? And what are you trying to achieve?
Yeah, so today we're at the IoT Security Foundation Conference. It's the world's longest running IoT Security Conference because we've seen a long time ago the issues that were coming up around security and putting internet into things that traditionally didn't have it. So we're here to educate and illuminate and entertain people with all the latest stuff in IoT security. So we've got lots of executives and technical people here that all come together to learn what's happening in industry, what's happening with regulation, and to be able to network with the industry and find out things you just won't find out anywhere else.
Yeah, they are really informative, which is what I will say. I'm interested personally, and I'm sure people watching will be interested. How did you get into this? What's your background?
So I actually had a business management background. So I joined the company just as we were launching, and I've been here for over 7 years now. So IoT SF was launched in 2015 because we've seen the issues that would be happening when you're starting to connect things and how the attack surfaces multiply once that happens. Yeah. So what we did was we got together different vendors and cybersecurity experts to come together and work on these key issues. Yeah. So for the last 7 years, I've been deep in the IoT security sector and all the different kind of fractured subsectors, all that, to get people to come together to work on projects so that we can put these things out safely.
Perfect. You have a lot of conversations on the daily with everybody that's here, and you probably see a lot of the talks and that sort of thing that go on. What are some of the challenges that you see quite a lot of, or reoccurring challenges that you see crop up?
One of the biggest challenges I think is interoperability. It's making sure all these things can fit together. But I'd say for me personally, it's the regulation. It's coming, but it's slow. And I think the industry really needs this regulation so that we can really get it moving and make these things secure, and that the vendors know that they've got that responsibility, and then that will go out wider. So for us, that's really important. Yeah,
I think some of the work that the foundation do in terms of white papers and the big book that Trevor's working on, for instance, is quite important. You mentioned from a personal perspective, so I'm keen to know from a personal perspective, what's your thoughts on the industry of cybersecurity at the moment and the direction it's going?
Yeah, I'm a bit mixed on it because we are getting there, but it's slow. So when you speak to people here, they know that security is important, but when it comes to the wider world, it's a case of within organisations, there's just so many different departments that are not talking to each other. So sometimes it's really hard to get everybody on the same page with these things. So I'd say that's been a really big challenge. Also, companies having the budget for security. What you'll often find is there's no budget until they get hacked, and then they've got an unlimited budget, but until they get hacked, it's not really been a boardroom priority.
Yeah, I mean, it's a conversation we literally just had in another episode, was large organisations asking the question, so what is my ROI of putting in cybersecurity? And it's like, well, that's a stupid question, really. Like, what are the implications if you don't? It's probably the right question. And like you said, all of a sudden budget becomes available. Final question for you is, if you were to give any companies advice based on what you've learned so far over the 7 years that you mentioned, what would be the main bit of advice?
The main advice is to join communities that are actually working on this. So IoT Security Foundation's got multiple projects that are working on some of these issues. So we've got one that's on router security and getting everybody together on that. And then we've got another one about the smart built environment, and one on supply chain. So again, supply chain's kind of quite new. With SBOM being an executive order, it's kind of like a hot topic. So it's really important that we look at the supply chains and look at the vulnerabilities coming into that. But most important is getting out there and seeing what information is there. I know there's a lot of different standards that people don't necessarily want to spend hundreds of pounds to download, but there is places like the IoT Security Foundation and other places that have got a lot of free security guidance there, so that you don't need to be a security expert to make your product secure.
No, you really don't. That leads me on to the final bit. Where can we find you? Is there anything in particular that you're looking for at the moment in terms of members or chairs or whatever it might be that people might be interested that are watching?
Yeah, we've always got a place for anyone that wants to join us. We've got different working groups and different roles. You get to pick how engaged you are, because we do understand everybody's got a day job, and so it is really lightweight, but you get to join these groups, get to learn through the pool experience within them, and you get to take that back to your company. The amount of people in our groups that have saved, the amount of money I've saved in R&D by just joining this, and I've taken that back to my company. So yeah, the website is IoTSecurityFoundation.org. We're on all the social media channels as well under IoT Security Foundation, and I'm Jenny Devoy. You can find me on LinkedIn as well if you want to connect and chat about anything.
Lovely, very exciting, and you should be super proud of what you've done, to be fair, in the last 7 years, because I know we're proud of you, and we're proud to be a part of it. So thank you very much.
Great to have you as involved as well.
Thank you. Perfect. Stay pleasure.